we're wrapping it up today.
We're wrapping it up.
And thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate it. And it's gonna be pretty short. We did. We enjoyed.
March was a busy month.
It was a busy month.
We enjoyed our birthdays.
We did some housework.
Yeah.
We did some other tasks other than things just purely for our entertainment.
Yep.
But we still gonna talk to y'all about what we did in March, what we read. So one of the first things we knocked out in March was Jade City.
Perfect too, because it's Jade, green, March, green. So,
all right, Q, tell me what you think about Jade City, man.
Jade City was dope. I think you mentioned this on Twitter. You went on Twitter and was like, it reminds you of The Wire.
It does.
It definitely like this Asian Wire.
Yes.
It was fire. Like, I like that. I like the naming convention that they use.
Yeah.
The story was a good, compelling story.
It was a good, compelling story.
The gang life of these people in this world.
Yeah.
I would never want to live in that world.
Never. I would never.
I would not.
Just like I wouldn't want to be in the midst of The Wire, like in Baltimore at that time.
Yeah. No. But it was cool.
Yeah.
I thought the action was straight. The action was like.
It wasn't the strongest point.
It wasn't the strongest point in the book.
Yeah, I watched some reviews and people were like, "Oh, the action!" And coming off some of the books you read that I feel like had amazing. Sword of Kagan had some dope action.
Yeah.
I was like, the action was like, it was okay.
Yeah.
The fight scenes were like, it was okay. Because
it didn't. Having Jade didn't seem so compelling.
Yes.
Most of the book until like the end.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like you're Jade and you have extra abilities, but you could possibly also go the other way and go crazy and
or get just shot by a bullet and be done real quick.
The dope part about those like their senses and being able to sense and hear things and stuff.
And the reinforcing and then the pulling energy. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean overall, I definitely enjoyed it. I think
if I were to recommend this book to anyone, my first thing wouldn't be like, they're battling with Jade. That would not be the first.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a high recommendation.
Obviously, we haven't read Jade War though.
Yes.
So Jade War.
Maybe they might start throwing them.
Jade War might change that, but until we get into Jade War, this was more so like just the whole gang mentality and the setup of how these gangs work and just the battling of the two was quite interesting.
Agreed. Elliot Brooks asked me if I would like Hilo. He's like, "Do you like Hilo?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a Hilo fan. Like, I rock with Hilo." And I think that's probably one of the best things about it was the characters. Like, they felt very much real. Like Hilo felt like someone you knew. Shay felt like someone you knew. What's my man's name? Andon felt like somebody like they all felt very relatable.
So very early on in the book, we were debating like, do you like Lon more? Or do you like Hilo more?
Yeah.
And I think for me, like you find out. So to me, Hilo was more compelling because he was just very passionate about everything. Right.
Yeah.
It was like he was hot about it or he was hot about it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it was, he was on the intense side.
And even like and we know people like that because even if you're mad about them, like they come at you so like, oh man, I'm so sorry, you love you doing. You just like, I don't like you, man, but you're so infectious. He has an infectious energy about him, right? So
it is very easy to like him.
Yes.
Lon, very early on, we were like, I don't know about Lon, blah, 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 blah. But then later on in the book, you're like, we need Lon. We need Lon.
Lon is dope. Lon is definitely dope.
And then the sister,
Shay, like her whole being reserved, but then it's like when it comes to it, like it's family, So and then Andon, like Andon probably had the most tragic backstory of everybody, and just to see him, try to battle with his past and how it affects his future, I think was amazing.
Yeah.
So I think the character development and the character interactions was the best part of the book.
Yes.
And how they maneuvered in that world. The world was very well realized. The magic was meh, but I think everything else was really good about
I agree.
it. Right? So
totally.
So we knocked out Jade City. Definitely enjoyed it. Looking forward to Jade War.
Yeah.
Second book we knocked out was Assassin's Apprentice. So good. We're Robin Hobb fans, man. And so I was talking to Q when I finished it. I was like, this was a very slow burn, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and
most books you're reading, you're like, all right, it's slow right now, but maybe it'll pick up at page 100.
Yeah.
Maybe and this it picks up.
It's like sparky moments,
it had
right?
sparky moments, but you're never like, okay, hopefully this book picks up in like 200 pages. It was never that because it was just such strong character development, such a strong character story.
Yeah.
And you come to love the character and his abilities and
his bonds that he makes with the animals and humans and
the court
intrigue and politicking. Like that part was good. It's just again
he's
like
a bastard. He's a bastard, so he's like, in these worlds where you're a bastard, people kind of look down on you or you're not treated a certain way, and so he's a man of the king. He promises stuff to the king. So you just he has enemies. He has
like 4 different teachers for different things. And,
so I mean, it's real cool to see him develop.
Good. It was
There's some sad moments in the book. You're like, dang,
definitely sad moments, man. And, I mean, and the threat of like what's happening to the town is just like, wow. Like,
and that was the one thing. Like, if I told him, like, I was like a little quip about it, was that I particularly didn't have any like pure malice or feeling towards this outer world. The Red Ship Raider.
Anything past Buck Keep. It was like
Buck Keep. I was like,
yes, it didn't feel super threatening. Now, the thing that they were doing...
It is threatening.
But
it just was like...
You didn't feel it.
You were so into the characters and what they were doing, what was going on with him, that it was, maybe in the second book, we'll see more and we'll dive more into that world. Yeah. And I also mentioned to him, I was like, I wonder, because people were telling us to read this before we read Red Ship.
Ship of Magic.
Ship of Magic. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious if, like, these ships or whatever happening in this world is obviously connected to that.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that as well.
So, big fan though. I like it. I think when we move to the next book, so I have like these old paperback copies. So when we move to Assassin's Quest, Royal Assassin.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy the illustrated edition and read that one.
I think I'm gonna do that. I like Robin Hobb. I can't wait to read this and then Ship of Magic.
And she got other joints.
Other joints that like all in that world. So I'm digging.
Robin Hobb, you got me off this first book. Like I'm a big fan.
But that's all we read.
Yeah.
So if you...
It was a quality month, though. I think
it was. We read 2 quality books. 2 real good quality books that we thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
So we read those, and we only watched like 2 or 3 things. So let's kick it off with what we watched. Boss Level.
Off of Hulu.
Hulu exclusive. Boss Level.
It was really good.
Funny.
So the premise, the premise is basically it's like
Groundhog Day, Day After Tomorrow. That whole premise of like you repeat the same day every time you die.
And you're trying to get
further along to like not die and fix whatever this loop of death is.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's about that, but it's way more funnier than any of those other movies.
Yeah.
The guy just has a very like his charisma. In delivering like, all right, here we go during this today. Like, but no, it was funny. The villains were like super hilarious, like caricatures. Yeah. The whole thing had just character moments, but then it had like some little sweet moments about family and whatnot. But it was in this show. It's like an hour and a half. Yeah. It was a good, quick, snappy joint that we just laughed at. I laughed a lot at it, and I thought it was funny.
It was good. It was great action.
Great action.
Good comedy.
Yep.
What else is there to not like about that? It was
you got
hour and a half.
Like, if you got Hulu and you got an hour and a half, watch Boss Level and laugh.
Good. It was good.
Yep. We also watched one of Q's favorite, Coming to America. So go ahead, Q. Tell them why you was like just so excited about Coming to America.
So the first Coming to America, first one was like it was just an all-time classic. Like it was Eddie Murphy. I don't want to say he was in his prime, but he was in his bag.
He was still riding his bag.
He was in that bag. Yeah. He was doing his thing.
Yeah. Arsenio Hall.
Yeah. First movie, amazing.
Hilarious.
It was very hilarious. It was very adult, funny. Like it was made for adults to laugh at. And even as a kid, I watched it and I didn't realize it, but it was still funny.
Yeah.
Coming to America 2 was almost like, yo, you want to make a movie with us? We'll bring back all your friends, Eddie Murphy, but
it has to be PG-13.
It has to be PG-13. And left it all the way up. It just blew it up. At that point, it was blew up.
Yes.
At that point, it was terrible. And then they started doing things where the first movie was more subtle in how they was trying to show how rich Eddie Murphy was, Prince of Zamunda.
Yeah.
How rich he was. And in this one, it was like CGI over the top to show how wealthy he was, and it was like he didn't have to do all that.
Yeah.
And then they tried to too hard play on the old one, and it was kind of like, man, you just made a whole entirely new story.
And they, because they tried to flip the whole fish out of water. It was like, African Prince, Fish Out of Water was in New York, right? Yeah. It was like in New York. So then they bought New York dude, Fish Out of Water in Zamunda, and how he navigates, and it just wasn't funny, man.
I didn't like this movie, y'all. I was upset. I was upset that they ruined the classic.
I'd give it like a 4 out of 10.
I was about to say, if you said 4 out of 5,
no, like shoot me, God! I just got you a PlayStation last night. You gonna shoot me? It's messed up.
Stab you. I'll stab you if you do that.
Nah, it's definitely a C- D+ level movie. Cube says probably an F. It was trash. It
was just good. Like the comedy was too contrived. Like it was too forced.
Plot was contrived. Comedy was contrived. The scenario was contrived.
The entire movie, I was like, stuck in my teeth, mad. So,
all right, next movie, last joint. We also started watching Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good.
Fire.
It's good. It's surprising me in its depth. They're going places.
I didn't think Disney was going to do that.
Exactly. I didn't think Disney would go this deep in different character profiles.
They did with WandaVision, Black Panther.
They did.
As far as the depth, but I didn't realize they would take it here.
Yeah. And maybe it's because these aren't like they're star characters. Like both of these dudes have been just like side characters, you know. Vision was a big part of one of the movies.
MCU.
Yeah, MCU, the Ultron movie. Age of Ultron. Vision was a huge part. Wanda was a growing part. But Falcon and Bucky kind of felt like, ho-hum, other than Winter Soldier, ho-hum side dude. But they really gave them some depth that surprises me so far in this joint. The fighting is good.
There's a play on like their money, like how are they doing afterwards? And it's like y'all battle for us. Yeah. Don't y'all have like a don't they rain money down? Like, nah, bro.
It's hard times.
He called me. He was like, "Why Tony ain't leave him some money?"
Tony should.
Tony could have left him.
Tony had hundreds of billions.
He could have left him a couple.
Stacks, man.
He had to do that.
Yeah. So, we watched the first episodes. I think it's thoroughly well done. Yeah. Enjoying it.
Yeah, good action. And it touched on great subjects outside of just action and battling and heroes. Yeah. So we're fans, and
Disney is doing A+ work with these TV shows. These MCU themed TV shows. They're doing A work. So yep. All right. So that's it. That's all we watched. We're gonna hit on a couple games real quick, and then we're gonna catch y'all on the next one.
Cool. So we finished Ghost of
Tsushima. What do you think, Hugh?
I love it. It was great.
Amazing.
Now somebody mentioned that it gets quite repetitive, and that is very true. But these types of games, it's like you can deal with that.
Yes.
And it was fun. Like,
it's one of the most beautiful looking games I've ever played. Like it's just when you're walking through like a forest and you got yellow leaves falling down in a slow joint, and you see the river in the background, and you on your horse, you just want to stop and go photo.
It's one of those games that like it's like a complete zen, like zen.
Yes.
And then you ride your horse a couple feet, and then you're chopping somebody up. Yeah. And it's just like opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's like he needs the zen moment so that he can go and do what he needs to do. I probably
did like over 100 photos in photo mode just because I was just like, taking it in. And they're like, the moments change so well. And it just looks so darn good. On top of just the action is great. The story of it is really great. So scenery, action, story, all of it is just top notch.
They give you, it's not a choice game, but at the end they give you a choice.
Yes.
And that was very interesting. It was cool. Yeah.
And shout out to the developers because that island made them like honorary like members or like representatives, which shows how well they like represented them. Yeah.
And then Asian culture. I saw a note that popped up on my news feed, and we talked about it, that the director from
John Wick.
Yep.
He's going to do a movie.
He's going to do a movie for us. So we'll see what happens. Video games to movies don't always translate, but we'll see what happens. I think it'd be dope.
You enjoyed your time in Ghost.
I enjoyed my time in Ghost. You guys, I was like, I'm like 4 trophies away from platinuming it, and I don't know if I want to deal with it, but if I ever got bored, I would go platinum.
And I've been playing in the Legends mode a lot. So if y'all play Legends, put your PSN in the comments,
Yeah,
so
we'll
maybe we can get hooked up and play some Legends.
Yeah,
so it's dope.
Cool.
And then I played Hades. It's one of our
disappointing because I really wanted to play it. I just never got to it.
One of our followers put something about playing Hades in the joint, and I played it. I beat it 8 or 9 times. However, you need to beat it to the end. It's a roguelite.
Yeah.
It's about Greek mythology. It definitely is repetitive, but it's one of those games where you do the same thing like 50 times, but you still want to do 51 because it's so engaging. It's so compelling.
Yeah.
So I definitely enjoyed Hades.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. Q, if you get a little, play it.
I'm definitely going to get it. It's on my priority.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
But that's it. That was our March.
That was March, y'all.
So we appreciate y'all.
Yep.
If you made it to the end of the video, hit us with what, Q? Have we done the clover yet?
I don't think so. Wrap up March with a clover.
Hit us with that clover. Peace.